All right. Blue-black rogues. What makes a rogue deck a rogue deck? What's the payoff? So Soaring Thought-Thief, I think, is the best rogue payoff in the format. So 1/3 flying flash for 2. That as long as opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, rogues you control get +1 attack. Whenever 1 or more rogues you control attacks, each opponent mills 2 cards. This card is sweet. You're not really decking your opponent with the milling, but turning itself on is very reasonable, especially when paired with effects like Thieves Guild Enforcer. This deck is basically a flying tempo deck. So we've got Brazen Borrower, Nighthawk Scavenger, Thought-Thief, Windrobber, Rankle at the top end of our curve, Glasspool Mimic to copy the valuable flying threats. So we're looking to disrupt or kill a little bit with these cards, tempo with Brazen Borrower, and then use our life total as a resource to attack constantly. We beat the only Uro deck we played against yesterday, but yes, in general, this idea of milling our opponents is really not good against Escape. So let's go ahead and dive on in here. We can see if it was a fluke that we beat the Uro deck yesterday. We beat it pretty convincingly. Interested to see how it holds up over larger sample size. Let's make sure we click standard here. JMK, thank you for the tier 2. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thank you for the 29 months. Yeah, I assume Magic players being Magic players, Seth, will continue signing up over the evening into the morning. There's really no reason for people to sign up in advance if the event's not going to cap, right? So, like, part of the reason why we added an entry fee to the tournament was so we wouldn't automatically cap the event, so people who actually want to play can play. Clerics is good. Felt reasonable. Sure. We have Enforcer on 1, Thought-Thief on 2. You sign up with your garbage Neth3 Reanimator deck. No, you should sign up with your good Neth3 Reanimator deck. Would be the pro tip. Yeah, I also, for all you left coasters out there, left coasters were constantly telling me our events were starting too early. So I moved the start time back an hour largely for you all. So you better wake up and play. I think I'm just doing this and attacking. There he is. The Elder, the Giant, the Legend. That's sure. The left coast is currently on fire, so I guess I will cut you some slack. It's the least we can do. Well, so that's interesting. So the opponent there elected to cast this as opposed to playing it as a land that missed their land drop. So seems okay for the home team. Alright, definitely on the we both lose a life and draw a card plan here because, well, I would like to kill you faster. Can you explain why third-party voting is bad? You articulate it better than I do. Because when you exist in a winner-take-all system like we currently have, Chef Seth, if you're not voting for, your vote effectively doesn't count in a two-party system. If your candidate doesn't have a realistic shot of winning, you're throwing it away. And you can argue the merits of does it suck or not. It does, but that's the reality of the situation. And that is almost lethal, but not quite. Do we want to sack Rankle there? Because we have replacement Rankles in our hand. That's a good thought. Yeah, I'm going to sack Rankle here. It's a really good idea. Does Glasspool make non-legendary copies? No, I don't believe so. Except it's a shapeshifter, rogue, in addition to other types. No, they're still legendary. Yes, voting third party in a two-party system is the same as voting for whoever won. That's exactly correct. So that was the verbiage I was looking to phrase for. That was failing to escape my lips. Nighthawk Scavenger seems pretty bad here because, they're escaping their graveyard a lot. Yeah, and like nobody reasonable is gonna tell you that ranked choice voting isn't a good thing or something that shouldn't happen. But you can discuss the merits of working towards alternative while also acknowledging the reality of the given system. Is basically what's important. There's a fundamental lack of pragmatism within a lot of people that consider themselves progressives. It's like taking their time sideboarding here. Probably hasn't played the matchup a ton. This is fine. Not amazing, but fine. He's got Temple into Thought-Thief on 2. It's a good pickup. This is one of our more aggressive threats, a big part of why we won that first game. That being said, it's going to take us a little bit longer to get Soaring Thought-Thief online this game because we don't have the 1-drop to mill them faster. Looked at the Omnath deck from yesterday. I only need 35 rare wild cards to craft it, and I have 5. Yep. So we'll go Thought-Thief end of turn into tapped Blackbloom Bog, attack, mill, hold up, drawn in the Loch. And by hold up, drawn in the Loch, I mean use drawn in the Loch to murder this Lotus Cobra. I think even with this land draw, I'm going to play one of these out as a face down card. Yeah, I agree with that. Drown has felt very, very reasonable. It's important to remember, too, though, Steric, that, like, while down... Am I trading for this Lotus Cobra? Their mana's really bad. I think I am. I think I'm discarding a card, too, right? Because I have an extra land in my hand. While, like, for presidential, that doesn't, you're correct that, like, third party, if you're in a safe state or whatever, is fine a lot of the time. Your down ballot elections matter, too. State and House representatives, all that jazz. What's going on, Death? Yeah, Oakland After Dark is part of our new normal here. We're definitely discarding. We're definitely sacrificing. Am I making us draw? I feel like I'm not. It does a damage. I'm going to do damage. I think I'm keeping Rankle here. So, I would heavily... Your line of thinking that Hickenlooper is basically a Republican is pretty much nonsense. Because I would remind you of the fact that 51 Republican senators voted to acquit Donald Trump of his very obvious crimes. So, no. I agree that Hickenlooper's not a progressive, but, like, again, that's the not pragmatic thing I'm talking about with progressives. Progressives, a lot of the time, like to act like if you're not a progressive, you're a Republican. And again, like, it's okay to be like, okay, they're not a progressive, that's reality. But, like, you should also understand that, like, they're still not a Republican. Like, calling them a Republican does a disservice just like how many norms have been broken in recent memory. All right, at this point, am I not discarding? I think I'm just sacrificing here. I'm going to play this out in response and sacrifice this. That's unfortunate. At least we didn't mill them into Uro. I'm just gonna, like, let people know. Someone just said, and this is something that is a huge problem, again, with just Americans, whether it's left, right, or center. The person that I just challenged and told them to look at their policies and look at how they vote and look at reality, they said, well, we just have a difference of opinions. Fuck off. We don't have a difference of opinion. You're ignorant to reality. Again, definitely not a progressive, But to call him a Republican, no, that was a ban on purpose. They could fuck right on off with their FUD nonsense. Calling Hickenlooper a Republican is bullshit, and it's actively harmful if you think you're a progressive. Tired of it. People they just don't get it. They don't understand what's at stake here. Ruth Bader Ginsburg fucking died today. Don't you dare tell me that Hickenlooper's the same as a Republican in the Senate. That's completely devoid of reality. Can fuck right on off with it. Many progressives and Bernie supporters act like perpetuant children. They didn't get their first choice, so they cry and they kick and they scream and they make shit up that's completely devoid of reality. Look, I get it. I sent hundreds of dollars to Bernie Sanders. I've sent hundreds of dollars to the Justice Democrats and other progressives that are running in different campaigns around this country. But I also understand reality, and reality is not Hickenlooper is basically a Republican. It's so harmful. It's so harmful. I can't say anything other than that. It's just, it hurts. It hurts what you claim to stand for by saying messages like that. Messages like that, saying that he's basically a Republican, that's a GOP talking point. It's designed to create apathy, to make people feel like they don't have a choice when there's an important choice when you actually look at the details and what matters. It is point blank both sidesism. When you tell me 2 plus 2 is 3, and I tell you no, 2 plus 2 in a base 10 system is 4, you don't look at me and say, well, we're just gonna have a difference of opinions on this. You're just wrong. And you know what? It's okay to be wrong, and that's another thing that's too, like, when I talk like that, people are like, well, you shouldn't be mean to people that are wrong. The problem isn't that you're wrong. The problem is that it was explained to you why you were wrong, and then you came back and doubled down on the same nonsense that you started with. So I don't expect people to understand everything, but I do expect when someone tells you why 2 plus 2 is 4 in a base 10 system, that you're smart enough to be like, oh yeah, that does make sense. I'll stop saying 2 plus 2 is 3 in a base 10 system. Okay, so I don't think I want to hold up Drown in the Loch this turn. I think we want to just slam a threat, because that'll trigger these, which will turn these into 3/2s. But I'm playing like Esper Control, it looks like here. Could get counterspelled. Yeah, I don't take that crap on a normal day, much less on a day like today. Just very over it. Draw 3 cards, discard a card. That's fine. Just gonna put them up to 9 cards in their bin, so these will be 6 power now, and I've got 2 counterspells. Yeah, that's actually a great comparison, and one I'm definitely going to bring up in the future, Cherubrotos, is super true. Many progressives rightfully chide conservatives for voting against their own best interests, while also holding their nose and acting like they're taking some moral high ground by saying they won't support Biden. is super hypocritical. I was taking a nap a few hours ago. My wife woke me up and told me democracy died. Well, she's not wrong. Unfortunately. Was that a good draw? How do we feel about that draw? God, Rankle is good, chat. Gosh, Rankle is good. Baneslayer and Ugin, eh? Think I want Murderous Rider? Think I want Murderous Rider? Scavenger Nighthawk, again, kind of slow and clunky. This is probably an okay Mystic Dispute matchup, huh? I don't think I want discard spells here. I think I'd rather have more counter spells than anything and more instant speed threats. I don't think I really like one of the things that's very easy to do in a matchup like this is board out too many of your threats and board in too many answers. So that's something I want to be conscious of. I'm at 16 actual lands. So like this is 20, this is 28. I think I can afford to trim some Glasspool Mimic. I'm gonna trim one of those because clone effects tend to be mediocre against sweeper decks. Oh, I have negates in my sideboard. Yeah, there should definitely be negates in my deck. This is maybe that's too many. Maybe I don't need the Murderous Riders if I have Drought in the lock. I'll keep the Glasspool Mimics. Let's try this. Not 100% sure exactly how I want to be boarding here. Australian here. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is one of the most progressive justice on the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court that was already skewing conservative with the appointment of Brett Kavanaugh. Notable rapist. That will now be further skewed if Trump is able to appoint. If Trump is able to make another appointment. I think I just play this now at sorcery speed so I can play Windrobber and get a mill trigger with the Windrobber too. And Neil Gorch. This would be his third appointment. We just kept a 7 spell hand. Nah, I clearly played lands. Have I mentioned that the spell flip cards... Have I mentioned that the spell flip cards are the best thing to happen to Magic the Gathering in my almost 20 years playing the game? I feel like I haven't mentioned that recently, and it has. Yeah, of course, Captain. Anybody with a brain knew that that was the case. Just saw a quote attributed to Romney saying he would vote against filling the seat. Yeah. Mitch is setting himself up to be the post-Trump GOP almost assuredly. How's this deck been? I love this deck a lot. We're only in our second match with it so far tonight, but it's been sweet still. This deck plays the type of Magic I really like playing. So I hope it's good. I would prefer if my creatures did not go extinct. Thank you, opponent. Yeah, we played it on the first day as well for a little bit. It felt reasonable. No, this is card for card what we played the other day. We didn't play that many games with it because of the server issues we were having. Skillfully milled the second Baneslayer Angel there. You have cast Shatter the Sky, and I have drawn 2 cards. Good chat. Ip, cheerio, mate. Oh, I did this during their main phase. Alright, if they kill this with a sorcery speed spell, I deserve it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Return from your graveyard any number of target creatures you have converted mana cost X or less with different converted mana cost. So if we pay 7, we get to get back 1s, 2s, and 3s. Ooh, that's rude. Yeah, I think Xerath tends to be win more. Maybe I could see it being okay in the sideboard for some pretty specific situations, but... yeah, Clerics also felt good tonight, too, which was sweet. Pretty sure I have to try and counter this because, they're gonna get back Baneslayer Angel next turn otherwise, that we just can't win anymore. There's a good chance this doesn't work, though. Why do I need to get their Baneslayer Angel, chat? They're dead. Rankle is much better than Xerath. Much better than Xerath. Just kill them. Just kill them. Also, they had 2 Baneslayer Angels in their graveyard, so if that had been Xerath, that wouldn't have been good enough because their Angel would have been a 6/6. I think Xerath's incredibly sweet, and people will play it because it's sweet. This does not stop the legendary rule from working. So you can copy Rankle, but you won't be pleased with the result. It's an untapped land. If Agedom's as an untapped land, I think I'm gonna bottom this, looking for like a 2-drop here. Or a 1-mana spell too. If we go like 1-mana tapped land here, that's pretty fine. Hey, would you like to activate my trap card by attacking opponent? Yeah, Xerath's a sweet card. I just think it doesn't really fit well into this archetype. I think you're an evasive flyers deck. Aha! They did activate my trap card. Free eats. Basically just looking for like untapped lands and removal spells there, I think. Looks like the Naya Winota deck that's been going around. Red-white Winota. Probably Naya. I guess it could be straight red-white. I don't want to play Lotus Cobra for some reason. Crabstream, thanks for the Brandy Prime support. I really appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Thanks for keeping me employed this month. Welcome to everybody, by the way. If you're a new viewer, thanks for dropping in. Thanks for hanging out through our wonderful political rants. I'm a vocal progressive, as you may or may not have picked up on. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I do a few hours almost every morning and a few hours most evenings. I'm going to play Glasspool Mimic as a tapped land here. Again, just love this land split mechanic. It's so good. So good. Beauty. Alright, so I think I'm just casting this turn. I think it's pretty unlikely. If I thought they might have something I want a Lofty Denial, I'd play the Windrobber, but I think it's pretty unlikely they have a 2 or a 3 I want to counter. So I think we just play Brazen Borrower here. Hopefully we hit an untapped land here. Ooh, that's just as good. So this will mill them enough to enable Soaring Thought-Thief, which is great. Foz, thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome to Hooglandia. So this will mean this powers up the squad. Sweet, we're up to 50. Yeah, I'm expecting about, I think like 64-ish people tomorrow. I think I'd be pretty happy with. I think 65 averages us an extra round of Swiss. I wouldn't mind one more round to cover. Yes, Brazen Borrower is a rogue. Roguish, more than just roguish good looks, chat. Alright, so they're dead. We get to end step Brazen Borrower. Oh no, I don't have the clone anymore. Oh, we have the Rankle. Never mind. JK, LOL. Fairy Dragon. I remember when people were complaining about it being a rogue and not a wizard. We just didn't know, J-Ray. See, wizards, WotC, they knew. Probably in for cheap eliminate. I unfortunately don't have removal in my sideboard that kills Winota. I guess Murderous Rider technically does. It's really expensive. I think I probably want that. Trim a couple of the glass pools, perhaps. $64 is 6 rounds. So with single elimination, the winner will play 10 to 11 matches. Because remember, our tournament structure doesn't have a top cut, it's just straight double elimination. Which also means for people that haven't played in these events before that if you have a bad day, you're done quickly. You don't feel trapped or obligated to continue going. It seems okay. Maybe a little weak on the draw, but like not every hand can have a 1-drop in it. It's a decent pickup with Soaring Thought-Thief to enable it. Red Rover, let Intimidator over. November was never going to be easy regardless, Voz. So. You're not wrong that this doesn't make it easier, but I don't know that the metric of how much harder it is by is very meaningful. Is this a spell or a land? Yes, as someone who was a competitive Magic player for a long time, I know I personally would have preferred to play double elimination tournaments, because then you don't feel like you're giving up value when you're like 2-2 or like 3-2. You just like, the choice is taken out of your hands. There's always a clear cut on if you can win the tournament or not. You're either in it or you're out. From a coverage perspective, it's lovely because it makes the games go a little bit quicker, and it's awesome being able to look at the standings and go, oh, that deck's sweet. It's automatically in contention because it's still playing. I'm basically just trying to structure our tournament series to do all the things that other tournaments never did that I wish they would do. That's why, for example, rather than having top 16 or top 32 prizes, we're paying out prizes based on match wins. So there's no tiebreakers based on that either. You're either in or you're out. I think I just need to keep holding up Lofty Denial here for a hot second. Maybe I'm supposed to play this tap so that way I can play this next turn while still holding up Denial. So I think we do this into Rankle. Now we have that. Okay. Well, now we'll wait a turn because we drew another counterspell. GG. He's dead. She's dead, Jim. I think I just hold up the Rankle still, or the Drown still. No reason to be aggressive and get blown out somehow. We did have Hearthstone lethal. My opponent had 2 mana available, though. So, like, they weren't guaranteed to be dead yet. They could have interacted with me. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Let's take a peekaboo at the rogues one more time. Someone played this against us earlier. It seemed okay. Yeah, this is the card I was thinking about. I think I might just play a couple of Thieving Skydivers as just another flying threat. Let's just do that small change for now. Flying threats are busted, chat. Has blue-black rogue, spirit of blue-black pirates from readings. I think this deck's much higher power level. The pirates deck was never anything more than a fringe meme. So, I think with the land draw, I'm gonna Glasspool Mimic here. Getting two of these going tends to be pretty powerful in my experience with this deck. So I have two of these active next turn. Helps you enable them faster too, which is great. So we take 6 here, and then the hope is tempo from Brazen Borrowers and Nighthawk Scavenger is going to be enough to get the job done. That is worth keeping because it lets me play a 2 and a 3 next turn, right? Maybe gives me the option. Think that Uro or Omnath is worse, or do you ban both of them? I actually think Omnath's an incredibly sweet card. That's a pretty appropriate power level. Actually, tweeted about that today. In a lot of ways, Omnath feels to me like a fixed Uro. If I bounce this, they can only attack me for 10, right? Yeah, I agree with the idea that Lotus Cobra is the more powerful card. I'm also not convinced that it's too good. Again, a lot of the issues surrounding Uro chat aren't even just its text lines. It's the fact that it does it over and over and over again. That's the issue. The problem with that card is it just keeps coming back. Amos Finn, thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. If I bounce this, I die, right? So I'm dead. Man, am I exactly dead? So I can play Soaring Thought-Thief, and that lets me gain 8. But this is going to be a 6/6 with tramples, the issue, chat. No, I die because of trample. For the people in chat who can't count, I bounce this, I block here, I take 8. Really, really close game. And if I play this out, I block, I gain 1 more, but I take 3 in trample. So, like, I'm plus 1 life, but I'm down 3 here. Yeah, they have exactly lethal through my removal spell. Really, really tight game. It works out exactly the same, JMK. Only they have a Gem Razor in play and then I can't kill them on the backswing. Need 2 cuts here. I should want each of those. Hey, the 8-Bit Casual. Thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Thanks for keeping me in play here this month. Oh, I forgot the Skydiver can steal the Stonecoil Serpent. That's really funny. Hey, awesome. Yeah, the open should be fun tomorrow. We bottom this. We're fetching Island on 1 into Swamp on 2, Soaring Thief, and then the Soaring Thief will enable our Drown in the Locks. I'm interested to see how many we end up with. Probably have a good number of last minute signups. Yeah, we're above 50 now already. Yes, you are allowed to stream your coverage of the event. I just ask if you are streaming, you also make sure to be watching our Discord server, because if you're picked for a main feature match, we will also need you to broadcast your screen to the subs Discord. That takes extra effort to be able to set up to grab someone's Twitch overlay instead of Discord, so for consistency and ease on my end, I ask that you just be able to do both. Alright, I think we do this, and I think Cobra's gotta die. And this attack puts them to 5 cards in the bin. So when we play this and then attack next turn, we'll get Soaring Thought-Thief online, as well as the Thieves Guild Enforcer. Stand up for the last little leg of the stream, huh? Get some blood flowing in the legs. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Yeah, both Enforcer and Thought-Thief enable this card very elegantly. Unfortunately, oh wait, this means I do turn it on, right? Because I do this, which puts a 6th card in their bin, and then we attack with these, which puts them to 8. Hey, Draco Thubin, thank you for the 1.5 years for Prime support. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. I think I'm just playing this tapped. In the event we draw a Rankle, we want it. A little bit behind here because I don't really have many good flyers at the moment. Although if this is their 4-mana play, that probably bodes well for us, right? First time having mana issues tonight, which is honestly really impressive. Between the spell lands and having these duels, these aren't duels, we don't have duels while we're having mana issues. The non-games, there have been non-games from getting run over in this format, but the number of reduced non-games from resource variance has just been incredible so far. Sometimes we still just die, but we do at least have lands and spells that we can play with those. It's been really, really wonderful. Please attack me for 5. Thank you. I appreciate you. Ranger's Guile. That's a good one to know about. There's no awful prison cards in this format. They made awesome designs to reduce the non-games to resource variance. There's a lot to like about Magic right now. It's our best draw here. That's not terrible. I'm going to offer this trade. If they take it, I can Borrower bounce the Great Henge. And then I've got Rankle as a follow-up, right? So we got pretty quick clock in the air. Like, even if they have a Fatty Boom to deploy here, that's going to take them a turn to get this back down, which is great. If they're going to take the trade, why not attack? Because if they attacked, I wasn't going to trade German. If they attacked me, I would just get to attack them back with everything. So them not attacking is smart. Hit the blue source there. Lovely. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? Pretty sure we're doing this. I don't think I want to make them sacrifice. It's really not that beautiful a day in the neighborhood, but singing Mr. Rogers makes me feel happy, and it feels like a good day to do things that make me feel happy. Looking like we're gonna get to force a game 3 here at least, so that's nice. I did, technically. Again, this game basically playing out exactly how you want games with this deck to play out. This game really highlighting too why that rogue that like takes permanents out of their graveyard isn't really something you're interested in doing. Again, just like playing a little bit of interaction with removal and Brazen Borrower whilst we tempo them in the air. And just run them down over the top. Yeah, this is fine, right? Plays Soaring Thought-Thief on 2. I think this deck's much better than Pirates. The Pirates deck was a pet deck. It wasn't very good. I think I'm supposed to bottom that, looking for untapped lands, so I can go Thought-Thief into Scavenger, ideally. Red Rover, let the 1/1s come over. I think this deck plays out differently than standard mono blue did. Like, standard mono blue is like a pretty obnoxious deck that just sat there and countered all your opponent's spells. This deck doesn't do that. This deck has removal. Like, while there's some counters in it, it's not a endless counter spells deck, if that makes sense. Easy block here on the Harbinger. Yeah, the play patterns are more comparable to Pirates than Mono Blue. It's just also more powerful than that. I'm gonna take 9. If we get to 11 mana, we can steal their Great Heads. That's accurate. So they have 5 cards in their bin. So if we take this Lovestruck Beast out back and drown it in the Loch, and then we attack with our rogues here, we'll get to go ahead and get this leveled up. And then we can brazenly borrow this so we don't take a hit from it this turn. And again, between the bounce spells and the lifelink from Scavenger, we should have been a pretty good spot. Well, I suppose we could get Rangers Guild here, huh? Nope. Hashtag sometime game. Pretty sure I'm just supposed to deploy all my threats here. I guess this is gonna hit me, and if this hits me, it finds the artifact creature, we get into trouble. I'm just gonna pass, actually. I mean, the progressive leaders understand what's going on, Socio Penguin. People like AOC and Bernie, they get it. They understand. They're still dead through that, right? Because of this. They can block 1 and they take 6. Nice. Okay. Sick. I like ending on a high note. That seems like a pretty high note. I ran super late last night. We have the open tomorrow, so I'm gonna be live for 7-8 hours tomorrow. I like this deck a lot. We changed 2 cards from the last time we played it, adding more flyers. Yeah, I'm hopeful, right? Like, we played 2 kind of sweet tribal decks tonight. We didn't wait for the server that often. I think if you're looking for a sweet tempo deck to play on the ladder or in the open tomorrow, I think this build seems really good. I don't know that I'd necessarily change anything. Sideboards are hard to get right. The main deck feels good. And again, I just can't highlight enough the fact that we get to play a 16 land deck with these. Like, this is such a huge deal, chat. The fact that, like, once we have our lands developed in the mid-game, we only have 16 lands total in our deck is just so amazing. And, like, this card is just, like, genuinely... yeah, you get to play a 16 land deck with 28 lands in it. It's just, like, fantastic. Zareth, again, just to wrap up, for people are gonna ask anyways, I don't think this card's worth playing. I think there's Maybe some meta games where, like, if people are super control heavy or maybe super ramp heavy, this could be okay. But the reason why this deck is good is because it has a bunch of flying creatures in it. Our couple of creatures that aren't flying are either Blackbloom Rogue, which we're playing because it's a land and it still has menace, or Thieves Guild Enforcer, which helps enable our mill sub-theme to make our cards better, or is a Doomblade, right? Like, this gets Death Touch to trade with a creature. So this is an enabler and a removal spell, not just a threat. So the couple of cards that aren't flying threats serve other roles as well. So, all right. At any rate, I'm signing off. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back here all day tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is exactly 12 hours from now for the kickoff of the Hoaglandia Open. That will be standard.